Good morning, I'm Meteorologist Chita Craft, tracking Tropical Storm Francine. Now, this is the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Notice 7 a.m. So still max sustained winds at 65 miles per hour, located in the southwestern portion of the Gulf of Mexico, moving now at a northerly direction. That is a little bit of a change. This is the first time that we don't have this northwest path. And then what's going to happen, the upper level winds from a big area of high pressure closer into Florida, going to help steer this more to the north and then eventually to the east. So again, the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center, expecting Francine to become a Category 1 hurricane today, potentially this morning at 10 a.m. We could have that update before landfall, and landfall is expected midday through our early afternoon tomorrow. So think Wednesday midday landfall in the central Louisiana coastline as a Category 2 hurricane. Max sustained winds tomorrow at 100 miles per hour. Even though the cone of uncertainty has really started to become more concise and we are seeing consistency in this model data that it is heading toward Louisiana, we are watching this very carefully. Let me show you some of the impacts starting today. Remember, we're under that weather impact alert today because the outermost bands from Francine are already starting to push moisture our direction. Even though you're waking up this morning, if you're watching this, dry, we're basically under partly to mostly cloudy skies. Some of these showers are just offshore. So our coastal counties will begin to see some of these showers first. I think it's now after 9 a.m. We're kind of getting through the morning hours, staying completely dry. Some of these showers will probably be light at first, and then some of these downpours could pick up, especially around midday and then continuing through the afternoon. Those are just the outermost bands of Tropical Storm Francine. The flood risk today, here locally for our eastern counties, Liberty County, eastern Harris County, all of our coastal counties, so that's Matagorda, Brazoria, Galveston, Chambers, at a level 1, a marginal risk for high water. That's a 1 out of 4. Now, of course, if you head to Louisiana, it's higher. Some of the alerts that are in effect, of course, the Louisiana coastline under a hurricane warning. Here locally, we have a tropical storm warning that is just offshore. What we have for the immediate coastal areas, and this is even Matagorda coast, Brazoria coastal, Galveston and Chambers, is a tropical storm watch. Now, with that being said, over the next 24 hours, could we see tropical storm force winds along the Galveston, Chambers County coastline? Yes. Some of our winds could be very gusty. In fact, some of our seas, so some of the wave heights could be upwards of 3 to 5 feet. That's enough storm surge that it could push water ashore even along Galveston Bay. So we have to watch the coastal flood threat very carefully over the next 36 to 48 hours. But the highest risk for flooding will be along the Louisiana coastline early to midday tomorrow. And notice the flood risk is a level 3 out of 4. That's a moderate risk in the red from Lake Charles, and then that pushes even into the western portions there of the Florida Panhandle. It's at a slight risk. Now, yesterday, we actually had a slight risk for some of our eastern counties. That has been dropped down to a marginal risk. Again, what this means for you is just saying, hey, we could see some heavy downpours capable of quickly producing a high water spot. It's unlikely, and especially area wide, but some of our eastern counties closest to Louisiana and some of our coastal counties that pick up some of those, some of that rain and some of the highest waves first, that's where we'll be tracking the best chance to see any high water. So weather impact alert today, highest rain chance is today. Tomorrow, even upon landfall, most of the conditions really drop off here locally. We'll still be watching for some of those peak wind gusts along our eastern counties and maybe the coastline, but that's about it. Thursday, Friday here locally, we're really drying things out. Temperatures return to the mid 90s. So I'll give you one more look here at the latest with Tropical Storm Francine. I know sometimes you may hit the update button just a little bit later. So I'm going to give you the latest. It's moving in a northerly direction now. So no longer is it moving west, directly north, around 5 miles per hour. So it's still fairly slow. Max sustained winds did not change, still at 65 miles per hour. So this keeps it a Tropical Storm Francine. I am expecting Hurricane Francine potentially at 10 a.m. this morning. We'll have Hurricane Francine, Category 1. Then throughout the day today, as it remains in the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, it's going to at some point, maybe 1 o'clock this afternoon to maybe 4 o'clock, it's going to take more of this northeasterly turn, and that's what's going to keep it skirting right along the shoreline. So you get counterclockwise spin around an area of low pressure, at this point tropical storm, and that's what continues to push the chance for additional rain, maybe tropical storm force winds, the potential of, again, those wave heights around 3 to 5 feet, especially along Galveston Bay. We could maybe see some water pushed inland. That's what we'll be watching, the potential of the coastal flood threat. And then it nears the coastline of Louisiana, still looking around that central Louisiana landfall as a Category 2 hurricane, maybe midday to your early afternoon tomorrow. Think about 1 o'clock. It's really getting close, maybe landfall around 2, max sustained winds at 100 miles per hour. Again, carefully watching this. If there are any changes, we will push those on over to your phone right away. We will be posting about this, and you can always get the latest at khou.com.